Welcome back to the Giants, guys. The G-Men are riding a 4-game winning streak. Life is good after Week 13. They own the tiebreaker at top of the NFC East. Today, we've got another Super Bowl champion, Rich Seubert, on the program. I want you to know exactly who he is. Now, the real fans know exactly who Rich Seubert is. The casual fans, and it's okay, you may not remember the offensive lineman from the Super Bowl championship where we beat the undefeated Patriots. And this play is a highlight we will see the rest of our lives. Probably the most famous play in Giants history. One of the biggest plays in Super Bowl history, really. But let's take a look real quick. Boom, right there, number 69. That's Rich Seubert. That's who's on the program today. I want to take a look real quick at what he actually does in this play. He's in the left guard position, gets beat inside, but look how he recovers. Here he is. Look how he recovers. Eli, the elusive Eli, finds a tiny crease, somehow holds on to the ball through all that traffic. Rich Seubert absolutely pancakes his guy into the pileup right here. Pancakes him. That guy's holding on to Eli. He frees Eli by doing that. The guy cannot hold on. Not only that, Eli drops back. Look who's standing guard. Look who's standing guard to give him an extra second to throw the ball downfield. Without Rich recovering the way he did right there and making this play, I mean, this highlight doesn't exist. Maybe we don't win the Super Bowl. Who the hell knows? I'm glad we don't have to worry about that. But man, what a big play. I've never broken down the play like this. I'm really glad I did. We all know what happened after that. And the Giants go on to win the Super Bowl. Thank you, Rich.
Burn out. Woo! Yeah, guess what? Yeah, I know. You're tired of my face, but I'm back anyway. You are listening to the Giants guys. Your host, of course. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always here when you turn on this podcast. I'm Craig Santucci, your host and the owner and operator of NYGiantsRush.com. I've got half of my normal crew. Michael Stewart's out there. I've got Jeff. But as promised, once again, I bring you the coolest stuff I can. I want to let you know that we did come through with Rich Seubert, and he's with us right here. Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, guys. Thanks for having me. I don't know if I'm the coolest you've ever had. I heard some of the other guys are on the show, but
no way.
I'm excited to talk football with you guys.
Thanks for being here.
Well,
man.
how about
It's
this,
awesome.
Rich?
Yeah.
Well, let's look. I'm going to tell you how cool you are. All right. So let's look at this. High school, you're a 3-sport star. That never happens anymore, right? You're an undrafted free agent who crushes it with the Giants and gets a starting gig in year 2. You won a Super Bowl, but you basically shattered your leg and came back and won another starting job, and now you're the head coach of a Group 5, unbelievable kick-ass high school team. You seem pretty cool to me.
It's been a fun ride, right? It's been a fun ride of football.
You got a cool resume, man.
Yeah, a cool left guard, right? The best position, the hardest position to play in football is left guard, right? You always slide to the right. Sean was always sliding to Snee. I got stuck on an island. Deal always had help with the running back, and I was stuck there with the best 3 technique in the game. But I guess I am pretty cool. You're right. I am pretty cool. You're right.
See, I made you feel good about yourself today.
Yeah.
And you know what? And thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate the time because I'm sure you could be hanging out with anybody else. But talking football is cool, and especially when you've got a win over the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, you're talking about I don't know, Jeff. Is it a weight lifted off my shoulders, or did we just really get a glimpse of this team learning how to win?
It's the biggest win in years. How are you not excited? We had 3 wins in a row coming into it. We had some momentum, but no respect, right? Because of who we were beating. But now Seattle, in everyone's mind, is a playoff team, could go the distance. And the Giants, I mean, they handled them. The defense was unbelievable. Offensive line, strong again. How do you not feel good as a Giants fan right now?
Rich, tell me.
Well,
what's it like from your perspective?
For the first time in a long time, I was watching the game in its entirety, and I was screaming at the TV, right? And I haven't screamed at the TV for Giants games in a long, long time. My daughter, who's 9, was watching with me, and she was asking me why I was getting so excited. I'm like, because for the first time in a long time, we're getting there, right? I had the luxury to meet Coach Judge at his press conference when he became the head coach. I like Coach Judge, and like the vibe that he gave me that day, I was like, all right, like it might take a little bit of time, but watching that game against Seattle, it brought back memories from when I played there the last time. And I want to say 2010, we put it to him, right? But going out that far, I know there's no crowd there, so that helped us a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good game, right? When people say, the play calling this, the play calling that, I'm like, I'm the guy where I'm happy that we won. I don't care how we won, just like when I played. I don't care if the defense wins the game, the offense wins the game, the special teams win 52-50 or 3-0. A win's a win. And beating those guys made me happy. And I haven't felt this way about the Giants in a few years. So I'm excited. You know, I'm looking forward to watching them this week coming up, and hopefully they just keep stacking the wins, as Eli says. Stack the wins.
Michael Stewart, 5-0 at one point. It was like a bad hockey game.
Yeah, it was a great game. I tell you, I had them coming out short in this game because I really did not think they could run the ball. I really thought Seattle was going to stack that line on them and dare McCoy to beat him with the arm. But they didn't do so much of the stacking, and the Giants really, that offensive line, boy, I tell you, it brings back days of when Rich played there. Those guys were mauling them. I loved it.
Well, that's a good segue. So, like, I these guys will tell you, Rich, I try not to get caught up in too much stats, but some stats do stick with me. And, you've got Zeitler, Gates, and Thomas taking 100% of the snaps. Lemieux and Fleming, at 75%, Hernandez at 16%. You got to explain this to me because I don't get it. Like, having played high school and college football, I don't remember ever watching my team rotate linemen. Of all the ball I've ever watched, I don't remember watching any rotating of linemen. Like, tell me how this works, because, like, I know we always, as fans, used to say your lines were so good because, you and Deal and McKenzie and Snee, Hara, whoever the combination was, yeah, you guys knew each other. Like, you guys were brothers. So how does it work when you rotate?
It's got to be the same way. Obviously, they're doing it for a reason. I don't know. I'm not in those meeting rooms. But are they just making sure other guys are ready to play so if something happens? So when I was playing, it was the 5 starters and somebody got hurt, somebody came in and never played before. Or now with COVID, right? If somebody gets sick, you need more guys ready to go. So, for this tail stretch, I look at it as you have more guys with experience. So if something does happen, the next guy coming in at least had plays, right? And he's getting reps. And I don't know why they're doing it, right? Obviously, they are, and they're running the ball a little better now, and they're protecting a little better, and the O-line's gelling. I thought it was crazy too, right? Like you said, like you want your 5 guys. I coach in high school. I want to rotate none of my guys. I want to keep my 5 guys on that field the entire time. And in high school, if I'm going to rotate a guy, it's going to be on defense, right? But not the offensive line. But they're doing it. It's working. I don't get caught up into those stats of, percentages of guys getting beat or giving up pressures or all that stuff, or because me, we don't know what the protection was called. We don't know if it was that guy that got beat or if he thought he had help. But it is what it is. I just like that they're getting reps, and kids, those guys will be ready to play.
Who do you like, when you look at the line, right? When we've been doing this podcast for a while every week, and we were like, in the beginning of the year, we were like, what is going on? Now, chalk it up, no preseason, youngest team in the NFL, new coach, COVID, everybody kind of getting used to it. Like, is that an excuse or is that real? Because for us as fans, it seems real.
It's real. I always say when I played, right? It seems like 20 years ago, which it almost is now. But back when we played, we made all of our hay in the off season, right? So we'd come in at the end of March and we busted our tails from the end of March until the mini camps and then the fall camp, obviously. So now you piece together new coaches, a bunch of young guys up front, a young quarterback, a young running back, right? And you have no off season. And then your summer's limited, obviously, and then your fall camp's limited with COVID, and then boom, you're thrown into games. It's not an excuse. It's real. It's tough. It's tough to play in the NFL, especially when you're young and you need to play together to be successful in offense, right? I truly thought this year defenses would have been playing so much better than the offenses early on, and then the offenses would catch up, right? Usually in the preseason, defenses always look better. The offenses take time to catch up because if one guy messes up on offense, what happens, right? If one guy messes up on defense, somebody else can make a play. There's an old adage saying, D-line is fine if you can't play O-line, but it's different, right? If you're a D lineman, you can get pancaked and, Strahan or Tuck can make the sack and, Tollefson looks awesome. Since we were just talking about Dave before, we won't call him out, but offensively, if I get beat, we all look like shit, right? So,
I want to make T-shirts up with that saying that you just said.
That's been out there for a while. I forgot what coach said that or what player told me that, but I like that, right? D-line is fine if you can't play O-line. That you could use that so many different ways, right? Like offensive linemen are usually a little smarter, right? A little more intelligent. No, skin, but
cerebral.
So that's the good word. That's a tough word.
It's good to hear you say that, like, all the challenges the Giants were facing, they're very real. They're not just excuses. Sure. And it makes it that much more impressive that, yes, we were 1-7, but we were in every single game except San Fran.
Yep.
Right? We were there every game, one possession in the fourth quarter. So, like, it goes back to Joe Judge and what a job he's done, the entire staff, getting these guys ready and keeping them motivated without all the reps. Like, it's pretty incredible because they played some good teams and they were still right there.
Yeah, I think even though they were, they started off pretty bad, it looked like they were still having fun, right? Like the guys were still buying into Coach Judge and they weren't giving up. And
culture was good all along.
The culture was good, right? Yeah. Like, shoot, I was in that locker room and we were bad. I forget what year it was. It must have been Coach Fossil's last year. And, we weren't good. And just the locker room feeling was different than any other year I ever played in, right? Like we pretty much just given up, right? The season was over. We weren't going to be in the playoffs. I think as long as there's a little bit of hope that you can make the playoffs, you're playing for something. I don't care how you get into the playoffs, but if you can get your foot in there, like you're telling me if the Giants find a way to win the next few weeks and they get into the playoffs, like somebody's going to want to come to New York and play us. And then we go on the road to play like in the NFC, like who are the juggernauts?
Like the Packers, Saints,
right?
Yeah.
You play somebody like Minnesota.
That's what I mean. So anything is possible, right? It's a football game. I've been the favorite and I've lost, and I've been the underdog more than I've been the favorites, and I've won, right? So I've always liked being the underdog, and that's kind of the way the Giants are this year, right? Everybody's counting them out, but you never know. Michael
Stewart, what'd you think about the line this week? I mean, Lemieux was getting a ton of snaps.
I loved it. I watched it, and I'm one of those old school guys. I watch one player, a few reps, see if he stays with his block, and then I watch the next guy. I'll tell you, I can't say enough about Gates and Lemieux and Thomas, how they just stay with their blocks and they don't stop. And it's encouraging. This line is going to be something in a couple of years.
Yeah, I really do like when I do get a chance to watch the All 22, because I have a subscription to it, being a Giant season ticket holder. Rich, there is nothing more fun than watching Gates just mangling dudes, pancaking guys, smacking one guy and then sliding and hitting another guy. Like, I mean, this is a guy who never played center before, and it looks pretty natural for him.
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I'll just say what I always told Sean, right? O'Hara, center's the easiest position to play. You're always looking to help somebody else out, right? You never have to I was lucky enough to play center as well, right? Whenever Sean
did play some center.
Whenever Sean was hurt, I got to play center. It's different playing center, and he's picked it up really nicely, right? Like he's doing a good job, and that's usually the guy that's making the calls and making sure everybody's doing the same thing, especially with that young offensive line, right? I don't know who's making the calls up front for him. I'm sure they're like us, right? Like us, it was us three in the middle, and we like after a while you just know it. But they haven't been together that long, so he must be smart. He's doing his job, and
he's nasty.
He's nasty. You have to be nasty, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody, like there's not enough nastiness in football. You got to be nasty.
Yeah, well, that's speaking of that.
You got to find a way to be nasty.
I saw this YouTube video today that someone put on my timeline. It was a comedian talking about when he was in high school and a guy got hurt. They used to circle around him like an Indian tribe, and they'd all be like dancing. And like now they're all holding hands and praying. Like that. It was a good roast about the difference of old school nastiness and now. So I agree.
It's just different, right? Like you can be nasty and still be, politically correct. You don't have to be nasty in both levels, right? You can play nasty between the whistles and be a great guy in the huddle, right?
Yeah, and Jeff, totally, the offensive line, we didn't have a whole lot of points with 17 points, but the O-line made a huge difference. We were talking about Gallman for the last couple of weeks, right? What did we say? Arm tackle was holding him back every week, finally got one to break.
I mean, the offensive line is kind of what separated this game because you're going to hold the Seahawks for how long, right? We eventually let up some big plays. It's almost like you knew that was going to happen at some point. You just have to withstand it. Colt McCoy was not going to throw us on his back and throw the ball all over the yard, even against Seattle, who's been burnt a lot this year. But I mean, Michael Stewart kind of alluded to it, how for years to come, you can feel good about the O-line. It's more important for them to be a unit than any other group in football. And they're young, they're together, like Zeitler may not be here long-term. Fleming's not, but you know who our right tackle is, Pert for the future. I mean, these guys are young and they're playing well together. After only a handful of games, it seems like they just clicked. We're rushing over 100 yards a game easily, in the last 6 contests. And it's beautiful. It's the best thing to see. Colt McCoy just went into Seattle. Like that doesn't happen without that O-line.
I was going to ask, like the O-line, like, the way they're developing is really cool. Does it have anything to do, Rich, with Colombo being gone? Like, as a lineman, you probably paid a little bit of attention to that. I mean, what is the fan supposed to think? Because it looks like
no clue.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know Colombo, right? I know who he is, obviously. And I know like when he played.
I was saying you probably played against him.
Obviously on the same side of the ball, so we didn't really play against each other.
No, I meant not one-on-one, but teams.
Yeah. Obviously, I know who he is. I respect him, right? Sometimes coaches don't get along, right? I don't care what level it's at, and obviously something happened there, and Gouge is back in with the Giants, coaching the O-line, and he was our assistant O-line coach. 2000 earlier until like 2007, I believe, and we used to. He used to be the guy holding up the scout team cards in the huddle for us.
No.
Yes, he used to be like that's how you start off as a coach, right? You start off with your ropes by holding the scout team cards, being the assistant O-line coach, and
now he's the O-line whisperer.
Now he's the O-line whisperer, right? I don't think you can change much in 2 weeks, right? I don't think much can change. So I think it's just it's a combination of Colombo's work and now his work, right? I don't think it's ever – you're not going to switch up what they've been doing for, 9-10 weeks, and then all of a sudden a new guy comes in and, I think Dave Gouge, I used to call him Gouge, so Gouge used to I think he said in the report in his meeting or the reporters, whatever, saying that he was going to do the adjusting because it's easier for him to adjust, like speaking foreign language than making all the offensive linemen adjust. So, obviously something's working, right? He gels better with Coach Judge. They were together up in New England, were they not? So, I'm sure that had something to do with it, but I'm like you guys, whatever makes them better, I'm good with. And I'm a season ticket holder, just like a lot of, the guys listening right now and you guys. I want my kids to be Giants fans. And, if they don't start winning games, like I'm going to lose my own kids. So,
yeah.
This is big. This is big for all these young guys watching and becoming Giant fans right now.
Yeah, Jeff, we were talking about that today. I'm like, so I'm down here. I'm close to Philly. I got to live with this every single day. and then you finally get a big time win, and Wentz gets benched in the same weekend, and
Beautiful.
You're like, wow. You're like,
that's just
yes!
beautiful. Yeah, I got a couple group chats going on with Eagle fans, and the chats were blowing up this weekend. I'll tell you that much.
We all were. There's 2 teachers in the school that I coach for that are big Eagles fans, right? And like we usually make a bet whenever the Giants play the Eagles, and obviously I've lost that bet a lot. I've had to wear some weird stuff I don't want to even mention on here. But when the Giants beat the Eagles, I was excited, right? Whenever the Eagles lose, I'm excited. Whenever we beat the Eagles, I'm really excited. But
which is not very often.
It hasn't been very often, right? But so nothing's better when the Giants win and the Eagles lose, right? And that's just, if you're a Giants fan, that's just the way it's got to be.
Yep. And then you put a Seahawk win on top of it, and you're like, okay, this is legit. There's something going on here.
Yeah, and if the Steelers would have found a way to win last night, and hopefully hopefully Baltimore puts it on Dallas tonight, right? So
that was Michael Stewart. Did you watch that game last night?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Listen, the Giants win was really, really great, but that was a big win. I couldn't believe Washington.
Roethlisberger looked like he was out to lunch.
He looked like he had dancing feet out there. That's what I saw.
I'm just saying,
like, the ball 50 plus times and only run it 13, 18 times. Like,
yeah,
it's win a game in the NFL not running the football. You just have to run it a little bit.
He did not. He was not himself. Michael Stewart, what do you think of McCoy? I mean, and by the way, I don't know if you guys knew this. He's only 6'1". He is not a big dude.
No. Well, look, McCoy did what he had to do. He didn't put the Giants in a position to lose the game. He kept the offensive going. We all knew he's not going to throw 300 yards that game. So
13 for 22 with a $105, a touchdown and an interception.
Right. I mean, that game was won by the offensive line and the defense. That's how they won that game. And like Rich says, you win. No, it doesn't matter. Offense wins at defense, special teams. Doesn't matter. Your win's a win, and that was a great win for them.
The only blemish he had on his mark was thanks to our boy Double E once again. We talk about Ingram every week like it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like you love and you hate him in the same game, like every play. So every week we come on here and we're like, do we love him or we hate him this week? Because he's really hard to figure out.
I love him. I'm like, I love him. I love all the guys. I don't hate. There's enough people hating on too many players with the Giants.
Yeah, well, I don't mean like I don't mean like a hate. I mean like
he tips the ball, right?
He's confusing.
Yeah, he's probably trying to be perfect, right? And by him doing that, it's messing with his mind a little. He just needs to go have fun and play football.
He's thinking too much.
I used to tell myself the same thing, right? Like if you go out there worrying about everything, you're not going to play good. Just go out there and play, right? It's a kid's game, right? Football. And like, I don't care what level you're playing. If you're not having fun, just go out there and enjoy the shit out of it. Cause you don't know when it's going to end. Right.
Yeah,
like, people always say, what do you miss the most? Well, I miss my teammates, but you just miss playing. Like you just miss the game. Like, I don't care coaching, watching it. Like, I don't care what level was the last game you ever played. You never forget your last one. So you might as well just go out there and enjoy the shit out of it.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Cause we were always like we all know how crazy talented he is.
He's very good.
Like, you're always scratching your head. Like either he need, I said last week, Jeff, didn't I say, I'm like, maybe he needs some Prozac or something just to like calm him down or something. Cause he's always so jacked up that like, or trying too hard.
Yeah. It's clearly between the ears because the guy is crazy talented. And right after he drops one, he comes back and makes a ridiculous catch. So it's like he drops the easy ones or he just has little mistakes, but I've kind of been at his defense for most of this year, kind of saying he's a weapon on a team kind of short of offensive weapons. So while he's a Giant, I'm still rooting for him. You kind of have to deal with that stuff here and there. It's just crazy that it happens to him basically once a game and he can't get out of his own way, but he's still a stud and he's still a problem for defenses. He's still getting 9-10 targets a game in our offense. So I don't think he's going anywhere. So I'm going to keep pulling for him.
Yeah.
Yep. Defenses have to account for him, right? You said it. He's a weapon. So
and he's got some crazy straight line speed. And it was a shame too. Like I said, because that was like the only real blemish. McCoy, like Michael just said, he held the fort down.
Yeah.
He made a couple nice throws. I don't know what else you ask out of McCoy, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's got any like major teeth about him. I don't think defenses are scared about him. He's kind of vanilla. He's just a guy. And if he protects the ball, you can rely on, like Michael Stewart said, the defense in the running game, which is, by the way, that's playoff football. That's cold weather football. That's kind of how the Giants are built, which I'm completely good with. I love it. That's how I want the Giants to be built. And he made some throws in the second half that he had to make. Nothing crazy, but he kept running the clock. He made some third down plays. Slayton had one catch. And it was a huge play.
It was a laser toss, too.
And it was the right throw. He did his job, put it that way. And the team around him did enough to get the win.
Well, you're listening to the Giants guys, by the way. In case you're new to the channel, we are here to entertain you guys for an hour. Rich is kind enough to join us and give us some perspective on the sacrifice it takes to make it in the NFL. I got to ask about Rich. Do you coach? I know you're the head coach. Do you get involved with both sides of the ball?
Yeah, being the head coach, you kind of have to be, right?
I didn't know how much
And I
delegating
have,
there is.
to be honest with you, so I coach at Watchung Hills Regional High School. I think I have a great coaching staff, right? So I give my coaches a lot of the freedoms. I think being the head coach at any level, I miss coaching all the nuances of, being the position. I coach the offensive line, but I also have another offensive line assistant coach that coaches the line. But you miss out on a lot of the things being the head coach. But I am involved with the defense. I'm involved with the offense, involved with special teams. I have to be, right? That's just the way I am. But I let my coaches coach. And if I want something done, I'll be over the headset saying, this is the play, or this is the blitz, or this is what I want to do, right?
Okay.
But we actually work really well together. And,
we've been so, anyway.
3-4 years. So we're finally winning some games, yeah.
You're 5-2 this year, right?
5-2. Our team was just voted the big Central Conference Group 5 Team of the Year. So
you did. You won it.
We actually won it. It was a little bit of fan vote, so thank you guys for voting. And then I think it was the media and whoever else voted too. So
awesome. I did see that. I did see that tweet. I made sure I pumped that out there to get behind you guys. I just didn't know that the vote came down and you won. So congrats, my friend.
We did. It just came out today, right? From going the Jets were I really felt like I was at the Jets 2 years ago. I was 0-10. It was tough. I think when I was 0-10, I actually worked harder than when I was 5-2 this year, right? I think you just want to find a way to win for your kids, right? For the kids you're coaching so bad. Yeah. You just keep in the last game of the season, I think it was 50-52 we lost, right? I was like, oh, so close. But from going from 0-10 2 years ago to this year, knocking off a couple of powerhouses in the state, it was cool. I enjoy coaching, and I love the kids.
Well, because and that kind of a segue is coaching the defense. The Giants' defense is balling, they're flat out balling, and I guess the segue is basically everything about Martinez and Peppers and Bradbury, but the biggest question is the whole offseason, everybody was complaining about the trade with Leonard Williams and and they were killing Gettleman. Everyone now on the biggest stage. I mean, Michael Stewart, I'm assuming you watched the game. Leonard Williams is the real deal. That cat can play. How in the world are they going to find a way to keep this guy? Because you can't let this guy go now. I mean, he's he could play D end. He can play D tackle. His first step is fantastic. He's at full speed at 2 steps. I mean, he can really ball. You watched him on a big stage this weekend against one of the best QBs in the league. How are the Giants going to keep Leonard Williams in blue?
Right now, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You know more than I do. Go.
No, right now you don't have to worry about that. Just play football right now. You don't worry about that stuff until it's off season. But Gettleman and all those guys, they have a plan in place, but it's going to be tight. And unfortunately, you can't keep everybody. But Williams is definitely stepping up his game. He's playing well above what I think a lot of people thought he would play.
What did we drop on the salary cap because of the year? Did it drop $20 million or something?
What do you mean?
Going into next year, the salary cap.
Well, I think the lid's going to be the cap. The minimum is going to be $175 million. I think it is. So whatever the Giants have, they don't have a lot right now. I haven't looked. They might have about maybe $15 million in cap space. I'm not too sure, but they're going to have to do a lot of cuts and
Yeah.
Restructure.
There's gonna be some changes.
Yeah, I don't know who they can restructure though. I mean,
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just got to keep drafting.
Who'd you say, Zeitler?
I said I don't know.
They said here's the thing. They said that the Giants right now at picking 19. That's where they are right now. If they stay there, they're going to need about $6.5 million for just their draft picks for money. So that goes aside. So you have to realize that. So they're going to have to. Kevin Abrams is going to have his work cut out for him.
I haven't. Rich said earlier in the show, he watched the game all the way through. He's yelling at the TV. The excitement, it's fun to be a Giants fan again. There's a lot of entertaining football going on. There's a lot to root for. And I'm watching Leonard Williams and I'm like, man, he's just like Bradbury and just like Martinez and Peppers. you've been waiting for that guy. Jeff, how long have I been, excuse my French, but how long have I been bitching for a pass rush? Rich, I've watched, I'm a little older than you, Rich. My dad's had season tickets since 1968. I've seen a lot of football in those stadiums, and I know that those 4 trophies were put in the case with some badass defenses and some badass pass rushers, from whether it was George Martin and Leonard Marshall and LT all the way to Strahan and Tuck and all those guys. We've been missing that element. Watching Leonard Williams has kind of got me fired up. I hope they find a way to keep him.
Yeah, that's, a D-line is good to have. And it seems like most good players play better when it's their contract year, right?
What a coincidence, right? That's weird how that happened.
They can flick a switch, and all of a sudden they're Superman out there. No, but it's good to see him playing, right? Like it was fun. It's fun watching. See, I like it when the media and all the fans talk crap about somebody, or go get him and brought this guy in. He's no good. And then in a year later, it's like, oh, this guy's awesome. We got to keep him. This is the best guy since Strahan. I'm like, I love that stuff. I fed off it when I played, right? They brought this guard in to replace Seubert. Thank God. I'm like, he's the worst old lineman. I'm like, I love that stuff as a player. Like, I love to prove everybody wrong. And maybe that's what he did, right? Maybe he said enough's enough. Obviously, it's his contract year, so he knew he needed to go out there and ball this year. And he's playing. Now, how do the Giants keep him? I don't know the numbers like you guys know him. Kevin Abrams, right? Find a way to keep him because he's pretty good.
Yeah. In fact, I was going to, throw a little kudos towards Graham because, Graham's moving him inside and outside. Like, we used to love when Spags had that NASCAR package, and he would put a lot of fast guys in there. So, Jeff, how long have we been talking about Leonard Williams playing on the outside?
Forever. We were saying give him snaps there. We need bodies. And he wanted to get paid like a defensive end. I think when we tagged him, he was upset because he got tagged as an interior guy. But it's funny, like Rich was saying, when you talk about his contract, it was almost unanimous that everyone hated the deal when it was made. And now people come out of the woodwork like, I love the deal all along. I knew he was a baller. It's like, no, you didn't. No, he's playing the best ball of his life. It's beyond was it a good deal or not? I mean, he's among the best in the NFL at what he's doing, and it's not debatable. The guy is a game wrecker right now. He's playing the best ball of his life. I mean, you got to figure it out to keep him. I mean, and hopefully he keeps playing like that. To Rich's point, once you get paid, some guys relax a little bit, but if he keeps it up, it's great news for the Giants, man.
Yeah, you're talking about the only other guy in the league is Aaron Donald. I mean, that's
the standard, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're out of the top 25 guys in the league in sacks. There's only 2 D tackles, Aaron Donald and Leonard Williams. Nice. I mean, he's just playing good ball. You know what? It just looks like he's having fun.
Exactly. He's bought in to the whole culture. The whole defense has. You have guys like Logan Ryan. You hear his interviews. You hear what these guys are talking about. They are bought in completely. Yep. They're all playing for each other. That's why they're having fun, and that's why they're looking awesome right now.
Well, they're winning football game, right? They're playing for each other. You said it.
And now the winning, once you get a couple of wins going, they've won 4 in a row. Now it's like we're not wondering or hopeful that we can beat you. We believe we can beat you now, and that's the page that they're on right now.
Rich, is it true that they have to learn to win, or is that just like hocus pocus?
No.
You have to believe that you can win, right? And until you get that first one, it's tough. Like when I won the Super Bowl, we were 0-2, right? Like you're 0-2, and you're pretty much on the brink of going 0-3, being the defense is backed up to the goal line against Washington, right? And
I'll never forget that. Yep.
Like we need this one, right? If we don't get this one, it's going to be a long season. But you don't know. You never know what's going to change the season, right? You don't know what's going to click. But like you guys said before, they've been in all these games, right? Besides the Niners game, like they've been in these games. They've been in dogfights, and they just couldn't find a way to come out on top. I forget what game it was where I thought the Giants won, and the other team threw that long pass down the sideline and kicked off.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. Thanks for reminding. Yeah, that's the one where I almost broke my TV. Right, like
that one hurt. Yeah, that one hurt extra.
And I think the Seattle game, right at the end of the Seattle game, like everybody was thinking, "There's too much time. Yeah. We're gonna lose." Russell Wilson's gonna have his comeback, and I think that's why the Giants winning, right? They threw that ball up. You're like, "Oh my God!"
Well, Love drops
down there somewhere. He's a man, but like.
Yeah. When you watch Love drop that ball, did you not just go?
I'm like, that was it. That was it.
It's like,
you don't want to give Russ another chance.
One of my coaches texted me saying, "Now we're gonna lose." I was like,
who texted you that?
Well, one of my coaches. I think my defensive coordinator texted me, Coach DeMarco. He goes, "Now we're gonna lose, Coach." And I go, "I know, I know." But that's the way it's been, right? Like,
you just kind of, we've seen it too many times. Yep.
Until you win a game like this, now it's like, all right, now it's not going to happen, right? Now we can go stop.
No, sometimes it takes to lose to learn how to win.
It does.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but failure does make you stronger, no doubt about it. If I'm not mistaken, it's Michael Stewart. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I mount up those losses, it's within 6 points, right?
A lot of them, yeah.
One game by 1 point, one game by 2, and then whatever it was, Tampa Bay by a field goal or whatever it was. Didn't they lose a combination of 3 games by 6 points total?
I think it's 6 points, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I definitely thought the same thing. I didn't have anybody texting me at that point. I think everybody was just holding their breath because they were just watching Julian. And I love Julian Love. I think he's a great player. I loved him at Notre Dame. He dropped that ball. I was like, oh
no.
He knew it too. His reaction was like, oh dear God, I just had it. I could have just sealed the game right there. That would have been a huge play for him.
He's not a receiver, right? Let's be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why he's a defensive back.
It's like similar to your defensive line comment before.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right?
If you had good hands.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta ask this, Rich. If it's inappropriate, just tell me. But I'm listening to Chris Snee tell me, like, we can listen. You want
listen, Chris Snee used to throw up too.
All right, so this is okay. All right, Jeff and Michael, let me paint this picture for you. So the guys over at Tynes runs the with the news, the Blue Rush, which, by the way, Rich, so my website that I've had for 8-9 years is called giantsrush.com. Tynes comes out with a podcast called Blue Rush, and I sent him a text. I was like, yo, if you're going to steal my name, you ought to at least put me on the show. That's how our relationship started. And
Tynes is dirty like that. You got to watch him. He's a kid.
I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So he was telling me about he's telling us all sorts of stories. He's really funny, So he's got Snee on, and Snee's saying that he throws up after but before every game starts, and if he's a captain, he has to run off the field and throw up in a bucket, and then he kind of tried to slough it off that he wasn't the only one. He's like, Rich does it too. So I'm trying to figure out is this a thing? How does this work?
Listen, Snee and I were very similar, right? By doing this. So I used to do it in the locker room prior to going out for the game. So I'd go through warm-ups, come back in the locker room. Snee, Chris and I talked about this, right? It wasn't that we were nervous. It was just all the pent-up energy, right? You were excited. And maybe a little bit of nerves, but it was more excitement than nerves. And I could never eat before games. So the night games for me were, you try to eat a little breakfast and have a little dinner, but nothing stayed down. Right. So, I used to throw up in the locker room. I don't know why. I'd find the garbage can in the corner and start dry heaving, and then something would come up and whatever I ate for breakfast or Gatorade or water. But I had to do it. After a while, if you didn't do it,
you were going to play bad.
Yeah, you're going, oh my God, I got to go. I got to stick my finger down my throat to make myself throw up. But I never did that. But that's what you were thinking, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was the throat. You get that gaggy feeling in your throat or something before a game. It's just something I did. I really don't know why. And
but you're in the locker room. Snee,
I didn't mind the locker room. Chris, if we won the coin toss and we're taking the ball, he's puking. if we're on defense. Right, the first third down, he's puking. I'm he was puking and going to play. At least I puked. I could have some Gatorade and water and brush my teeth in the locker room before I went back out there.
It sounds more of a nerve thing for him and more of a pregame ritual for you, because at least yours was.
I'd rather throw up than have to take a crap at before every game, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Taking your collar pads off, taking your pants off, being all sweaty, try taking a crap in a uniform. That's tough. So I'm glad I was puking, not a crapper.
Yeah, because he's like, he's telling the story how he has to go out for the coin toss.
And he'd come running back. Like,
And he come
all the other captains are shaking hands, right? Hey, good luck, stay out. Good luck. He's like running off the field. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, don't go out there then. Don't go out there.
Yeah, it's not a good look. You're not really intimidating anybody when you're like,
he says that he's trying not to pull a McNabb. Remember McNabb in the Super Bowl threw up on the field? He's like, I'm not trying to pull a McNabb, so the coach is running a bucket out to me. And I'm thinking, like, is this like a thing? Do other like is Deal doing this too? Like,
no, I think Chris and I were the only two when we were playing. I don't know, like the people heard me, right? So that's why they all knew about me. And Snee, I don't think a lot of people knew about Chris because he was like a quiet puker, right? He would do it like over by the O-line bench, over to the side, and like Pat Hanlon would hang up the towel or something to shield it. He would throw up, and God, can you imagine now with COVID going around? That'd be like, oh, test him. You got to test him. Like,
test him again.
There's more funny stuff that goes on that nobody knows about. Like in preseason, they used to have hot dogs with chili. Ronnie Barnes, Dr. Barnes, right, would have hot dogs and chili and sauerkraut. And freaking O'Hara at halftime when we were done, he'd come out like 3 hot dogs in his helmet and be eating them on the sideline. Like,
how could you do that before going back in?
No, we were done playing, right? This was like the first preseason game, the second preseason game. Whenever coach said, "Hey, at halftime, the ones are done," like, so we'd always take ketchup and try to put it on his white numbers, right? So it looked like he spilled ketchup on his numbers. But,
oh my god!
I'll take any of those stories that you got. That's
hot dogs
great.
At halftime. Those I think they were the Nathans, right? Like the good. Me being from Wisconsin, I didn't know what a Nathan hot dog was until I came out here. Those Nathan hot dogs, and the chili was from somebody brought the chili in every week. It was his father's recipe. It was good.
You still tight with all those guys?
We are, right? We talk about the fun we had, and most of us live in New Jersey still. So we have a group text. It's like me, Sean, Chris, and Booth, and then there's one like Eli on it, and like we still bust each other's chops, right? We all have kids. We're all kind of like in the same boat. We're all enjoying life. We all say we need to get together for a beer, but are we allowed to get together for a beer? Like, can only be like 4 of us? Can it be 10 of us?
Yeah.
So we're just waiting. We're waiting for a night out, right? We're waiting for somebody's birthday and just to get together and talk to shit. But I don't know if it was Chris. Now you guys bring back memories. I'm going to talk you guys' ears off, but this is what it is. Right?
No, I'm here for it.
We're all for it. Talk
the
away.
rookies used to have to bring in Krispy Kremes, right? Every Saturday morning. I don't know, 4 or 5 dozen Krispy Kremes for the guys. This was back in the old Giant Stadium when we used to a lot, right? So I don't know what year this was, but they had like the glazed Krispy Kremes. We took 2 of them, and I forgot who did it. I don't think it was me, but somebody dipped them in we used to have hand wax.
Oh,
like the hand wax, like you put, I don't know, makes your hands soft, and you dipped them in there. And some rookie came in, he's like, "Oh yeah, these are those double frosted Krispy Kremes," and he eats them. And I was like, we're all like, he's eating the hand wax. And like, you would like put your hand in there and like take it off and put the wax back in the bowl, right? So it wouldn't be like you threw the wax away. Like you'd have it on your hands, scrape it off, and put it back in. And the next guy would come. But like, so somebody ate people's hand wax, which I thought that was pretty cool.
You're gonna make me throw up.
Like there's other stuff I don't want to tell you. I had a dead seagull in the back of my truck for God knows how long. So those, I'm gonna call them assholes. Can I say assholes on here now? Can I say that on your podcast? They always
you can say whatever you want.
Yeah. Say whatever you want.
I think I had a Ford or a Dodge. I don't know what I had then, but I had like that top on the back, right? At least throw their water bottles in there. Every day after practice, they'd walk up and put their water bottles in. One day I'm like, man, I opened the back of the truck up and it's like, it's packed full of plastic water bottles. I'm like, I gotta recycle these things. So I got a trash bag out of my house and I'm scraping them in there. And all of a sudden I started like smell stuff. I started dry heaving. I was like, oh. Somebody put a dead seagull in the back of my truck, and the thing was the size of like a baby cow, right? That's all. And when I was poking with the rake to get the bottles out, I poked it free, right? So it was hissing. Like the gases were coming out of it. It was disgusting. That was the worst.
Did anybody ever own up to that one?
Gray Rugemer.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, Gray Rugemer was that. He also put the pig's head in my locker, right? Which it was fun. Pig's head or a chicken. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
Was Eli a prankster too? Would he ever try to get you guys?
Eli was a prankster, right? You guys heard the stories. The purple shoes going to the Super Bowl, I think. The green ties going to Green Bay. Like, he would come in and steal all of our shit. And then, like, he stole all of our ties. And I was the one that lived the farthest away. So, like, Sean's, I want to say probably girlfriend at the time, maybe wife, brought him his new shoes. I had to go purple shoes to the Super Bowl because, God forbid, if you didn't have dress shoes on with Coughlin, right, you'd find your ass. But,
so he'd leave you purple shoes?
Purple shoes. Like, they took all of our dress shoes, and I think him and the quarterback coach, I'd imagine the quarterback coach had something to do with all this shit because Chili Palmer, right? He'd like to do this stuff too. Like, they got our sizes, they bought shoes, and they spray painted them purple. Which, whatever, I rock that shit. Like, what? Now it's like a fashion
Good
statement.
look now, right?
Yeah, it's a good look now.
All right, I got a question.
Go.
So, you had a pretty nasty injury, middle of your career where you basically smash, crush, break, snap, fibula. Yeah, like run me through that. I mean, because you were super fortunate that you worked all the way back.
Let's bring up bad memories. Come on.
It happened against the Eagles, which the team we don't like.
Bastards.
It wasn't like it was literally, it could happen every play, right? I want to say it was ND Kalu. I might get the names wrong. They ran a Tom game. He stepped on the back of my leg just right. Spiral fracture. My ankle shattered. It hurt, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. Like, until they gave me a needle of something on the field, like, it felt pretty good. And I was in the hospital 3 weeks. I had compartment syndrome, so my leg swelled up. They cut me open to get the swelling out and give me a skin graft and all that good stuff. A lot of people said I was probably done playing, but like, people were telling me that my whole life, right? So I just I was blessed and lucky to have my teammates and my coaches and the training staff, right? Ronnie Barnes and Byron Hansen and Steve Kennelly. Two of those guys are still there. Like, they saved my career, right? I hung out in that training room for a year, and I remember. Well, Gettleman wasn't the GM then. Who was the GM? It was
Jerry Reese.
No, Ernie, right?
It was still Ernie, right? So it was Ernie, but Jerry was still there, and Gettleman was the whatever role he had then.
Personnel guy.
Yeah.
Before they cleared me to play, they took me into the bubble and they put me through like a mini combine, right?
Wow.
And I tell the story where at the end of it, I thought I did decent, right? But the shit was hurting. But my thing is, like, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt the rest of my life. I might as well still try to play. Why would you not want to play this great game of football?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Mara family obviously gave me the chance to prove myself and come back. Like, they could have got rid of me right after I broke my leg, right? Like, but Wellington was a good man. He used to come to the hospital and visit me, which said the world about the Mara family and the Giants organization and the Tishes and everything else. And they gave my wife everything she needed: car service in to see me, and car service home, dinners, meals, whatever we needed. But they had me jump across the field on my good leg and my bad leg, 50 yards down, 50 yards back.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't got to hop on one leg and play football. What the fuck is, like, what's this? Right? But,
when would I need to do that?
Like, I swear to God, I think every hop I could feel my leg breaking again. And I was like, I can do it. But I did it, right? And they gave me a chance. And that next year I came back and I was the tight end and I played a little bit of fullback, and I was the next guard in, the next center in. I remember my first start coming back was at home against Kansas City, right? It's when Tiki Barber had
against Larry Johnson. That was that big game, wasn't it?
I want to say Tiki had like 300 yards rushing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I told Tiki, I'm like, you would have had 500 yards if I didn't, mess up half the plays, because I was pretty rusty, right? That was first came back. I wasn't ready to play probably, and I couldn't walk for 2 weeks afterwards. Like, my whole body was sore. I was like, holy shit, I forgot what it was like playing in the NFL. But I'm glad. I think Jason Whittle was the one that was hurt. He came back and played the next week, and I'm like, dude, you have to play this week. I can't even move. It wasn't my leg; it was like my whole body was sore. But to me, I think that was the biggest moment for me. My first start back, and then you just continue to work. Right, my teammates pushed me. Like, Luke was in that locker room with me, pushing my ass, and by then Sean was there and Snee, and like the family of the Giants was pretty cool. Right, so you just didn't want to let anybody down. And Coach Coughlin was there, that following year, and you're afraid death to miss practice with Coach Coughlin. So, but I think
he was that strict, huh? It's not
right?
A made up story.
No, I didn't want to miss practice. Like, I was a lineman, right? I didn't want to miss practice. I wanted to play, and They were trying to say, take it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take it easy. I'm like, I'm practicing every day. Like, I got to prove to coach that I can play football. And I'm glad they gave me the chance because look what happened, right?
Hell yeah.
Then I blew my knee out again.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the last game. We don't want to talk about that one. That was the last one.
I do have a question, though. Did you have – because there are some fans, I think most of them are coming around now on Dave Gettleman, but did you have a good enough relationship with him? Like, what's your take on him? Do you have a message for fans that –
I've always liked Dave.
Yeah.
I always respected Dave. I've always liked him. He does things the way he wants to do things, right? And a lot of the things that we were criticizing, not we, but a lot of people were criticizing Dave about, some things aren't going to work, but some things are starting to pan out, right? He likes to find his guys up front. And I truly believe at any level of football, if you don't have an O-line or D-line, like you guys were saying, you guys need pass rushers on defense and you need 5 guys up front on offense to play together. If you don't have that, it's tough to win, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to win without that pass rusher. That's those 5 guys. And
I have this
the last 4 weeks, it's finally starting to come together, right? The last starting to come. So was it coaching? Was it the players?
Yeah, like the first 2 years of Gettleman were pretty miserable. He was dealt a really bad hand, but it's now finally coming to fruition where, like, I love everybody right now. Like, I'm not trying to fire him and ruin the progress we've made and see people go because they cut off the head just because the first 2 years were bad. Like, it's finally working now. My thing is keep it. Don't fix it now. It's finally working.
I really wish they would have kept Coughlin for another year, right?
Yeah.
For another 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like
as a coach or in the office?
As a coach, right? I think he still had 1 or 2 years left in him. I just don't think nobody was ready for a change yet, right? Especially the organization or especially the team.
That didn't feel right for anybody.
That's too long ago now, right?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But maybe I feel like that because coach was my coach, right? He was my guy. He was a guy that I would respect and the guy that I would, run through a wall for to this day. I know, what is today? Wednesday or today's Tuesday, right?
Tuesday. Yep.
Like Thursday, I get to play bingo with Coach Coughlin for his charity event. So I'm so pumped for it, right? Like,
oh, really?
Hey, don't be late.
Awesome.
Don't be late.
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be
bingo.
It's Zoom bingo for the TCJ fund, right? Which is awesome, and I can't wait to hopefully bust his balls a little bit playing bingo. Like that's what I'm gonna like. I'm gonna have to do it. I want to win, and I want to like poke fun of him making the way he calls his numbers. So
man, awesome! That's so cool that you guys have that relationship with him.
Yeah, like I think if you worked hard, right, you showed up on time, you gave everything you had. I think he saw that in you as a player, and he respected you as a player. And like, I don't care how hard he was on me or the team. Like, that's the way I was brought up, right? That's the way my parents raised me. So I'm expected to do things correctly, like show up on time. Who cares about being 5 minutes early? Does it matter? Just set your clocks 5 minutes sooner on the schedule. Chalk it up 5 minutes. Like, my wife hates me because I'm 5 minutes early for everything.
It's still there. That's great.
I love it. Wait, so you mentioned if he stayed an extra year, are you there for that Super Bowl year?
No, I blew my knee out because Sean sat out that last game against Washington. I was playing center, and
I remember.
I couldn't get my foot out of that nice turf they have in remember they used to talk about the grass in Washington and like all the injuries. Nobody ever talked about my freaking injury to Washington, right? But that was the last game of the season, right? We Green Bay we won. Green Bay had to lose. The Bears were beating Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers came back and beat the Bears. The Packers made the playoffs, won the Super Bowl, and we stayed home. That's how.
Yeah, you just brought up a ton of bad memories. I had kind of blocked that out until you just said it.
Yeah, you and me both, right?
Yeah.
That's the last game I played, right? I rode home on a train, sitting next to Coach Coughlin with my leg the size of a watermelon, right? And knowing that I was done playing football. Like, I knew I was done.
That's tough.
Okay, because you were saying if he stayed an extra year, because that was the 2000.
Not for me. I'm talking about for the team. Like, after, like, that'd have been like, what? So what year was Coughlins last year? I tell you, 2015?
13?
I was going to guess 13 too. Because I know 16 was McAdoo already because we went to the playoffs with McAdoo.
Like, they could have, if he would have stuck around 1 or 2 more years, who knows what would happen, right? Who knows the future?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What about this week? What are we feeling about this week? Michael Stewart, is there a spread on the game yet or no?
Yeah, who are we playing?
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah, they have the Cardinals. They have them winning this game, but I think they have a 3-game losing streak, don't they? Right now, the Cardinals. They lost two straight games, right?
Just beat them.
Yeah, the Rams beat them, and this is a game like the Seattle game, same type of quarterback they got to face. So they're gonna have to play a good, solid, all around game to beat them.
Mighty Mouse will beat you if you let him. I mean, he's
a great player.
He can move.
Is that game in New York?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully it's cold, right?
A little rain. You want a little icy rain coming.
And hopefully Jones is playing this week. I hope.
To be determined, but I think
I love cold, but let's be honest. Like Jones would be nice to have.
Yeah. Right? We definitely need Jones down the stretch, and I think he was close last week, so I have a feeling he probably suits up. Yeah. He's good to go. But it is similar. I said it. I tweeted it out. I feel like it's probably similar preparation. Obviously, not exactly, but you have a mobile quarterback. You have an elite wide receiver to worry about. It's going to be Bradbury on DeAndre Hopkins. But I trust our defense, and if it is a bad weather game, you better believe we're going to pound the ball down their throat with or without Daniel Jones. We're going to be running the ball a lot. And there's some things working in our favor. Arizona, like you said, coming off a couple losses. They're not playing their best football. Kyler Murray is not 100%. His shoulder is messed up, and they don't want him running around. He hasn't been rushing nearly as much. So I think the Giants, I have no reason to doubt that the Giants can pull this out too.
We got a good chance to win.
What's the spread? Like 3 points?
I think the Giants were getting 2.5 the last I saw, but it's been a moving spread because money's probably going all over the place on that game.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I always curious about those warm weather teams, like Rich just said. Like if it's cold or a little rainy, does that make a difference? Like I don't know did Murray come here 2 years ago when he was a rookie or no?
Didn't he play last year? They beat us. Was it last year he came in?
Was that home though?
Yeah, it was at Giant Stadium.
Oh, early in the season. Man, give me the second. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
The big thing about Giant Stadium, and look, I never played there, but Rich knows this, is the wind in December. It gets very windy in that stadium. This is what I've read. So that could be a big factor in the passing.
The old stadium,
I
don't know what it's like on the field, but the old stadium, the wind was insane.
Yeah,
like that means
it depends if the garage door is open or not, right? They used to open up that garage door on that one side,
and it would swirl. It would swirl inside there.
The swirling winds, yes.
Yeah, the new stadium is not as bad as the old. Well, again, depending on if you're looking for home field advantage.
I'm going to say 24-17 Giants.
Nice.
Oh, I like it. Look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
Love it. All right. Well, look, Rich. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you. Can we get you back before the season's over?
If the Giants win 24-17, let's do it every week.
Yes!
I heard it.
Yes. So what? We're never having Tynes back. We don't need him. We got Rich.
Yeah, Tynes. If you bring Tynes is probably just coming out here to steal something that you guys do for his show, right? Let's be honest. Like maybe he'll put up the same pictures in the background or something. I don't know. He'll have the guitar in the background next time.
He does have a guitar in the background. That's really funny.
He used to not have that. You had it, right? I love all those guys, right? Like you need to talk to all those guys and get us all at once, so we can all bust each other's chops for dinner.
Yes, but I like that.
A few people would drop out. I lost service. Sorry, I'm out.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Well, we like I said, we had Tolfson on. He told us some great stories. Tynes has always got some great stories. I mean, he was doing Christmas trees or something last time we had him on. And
remember,
I don't know.
Kickers remember everything because they've never been hit in the head, right? So,
good point.
Tolfson has a good memory. Tolfson calls me on Dave calls me on Monday. He goes, "Do you remember the last time we played at Seattle?" And I go, "Yeah, we won to 6 or 7." He goes, No. The next day, and I go, "No." What do you mean the next day? He goes, "We landed at 5 o'clock in the morning. You took me hunting." And I go, "I don't remember that, Dave, but I'm glad you do."
Wow.
Buddy. But it's fun, right? We could talk for hours about all these guys, and thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it, and good luck to you guys, man.
Yeah, man. Rich. We'll have you back, Rich, and we'll hit you up. Good luck with the hunting. I hope you can find some a couple big racks out there.
Big racks, right? So big racks are nice. So hopefully we see a big.
All right, guys. You're listening to the Giants, guys. We're going to We're going to edit this up and have it on YouTube for tomorrow. The mechanic over there will get it going. NYGiantsRush.com. We're OUT out. Peace.